Hello?
I thought you didn't want it to connect anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, I started to read 5:30 p.m. Italy time and 8 p.m. Iranian time. So I said to myself, why the half hour delay? I mean, there must be something wrong. Anyway, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And I'm very happy because it's my birthday and you're
It's your
here.
birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday, happy birthday. I
Thank you very much.
must be very unique, I guess.
Yeah,
Where are you?
I'm here. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. It's my
Yeah.
pleasure,
You
actually.
know, I said in this last few times that I had the opportunity to talk with some people virtually, and for the first time that, I like to meet new people as a source of energy. I think that when I meet new people in general, there's new sources of anything that comes into me, whether it's an inspiration or
Yeah,
connections that might be meaningful in life. So it's nice to meet you in this moment in which, it's very hard to meet new people because we are all locked in. But I mean, it's nice. I think we're being helped by technologies and social medias and such like that.
definitely it will work. Okay, let's start. I can't wait to hear your inspirational talk.
Yeah. How can I help you? I mean, I don't know if I can be of your interest, but what can I tell you? Very interesting. I mean,
I'm going to ask my questions.
okay.
Okay. Pascal Junior, your brand NATUZZI had been founded in 1959 and all the time has been top leading brand in the world. But in the beginning of its in 80s was its turning point. Could you please tell us what happened that helped to grow up rapidly at that time?
In the 80s. In the 80s, huh? I wasn't born back then. I wasn't born. So I think I will have to use the memories that were taught by my father to
Mhm.
describe what happened back then. But for sure, the design and very sophisticated design, very related to architectural design. So very sophisticated and very methodic was something that already back then in the 80s and of course before was super aware. I mean, of people. People were. It was the most famous sort of style and design, and what I think my father brought into the market was quite disruptive because he had this sense of style that had no rules. You couldn't learn at school. There were no design school or architectural school that would have taught you that. Moreover, many designers, I'm sure, that were pretty skeptical seeing what he was doing. And basically, I love to synthesize in two ways. My father always says and said that one of the reasons that the Natuzzi DNA is such specific is because wherever there's a corner, he makes curves. And at the same
Yeah.
time, he says quite often or always that whether you can sit on a sofa on another product, with Natuzzi, you sit in the sofa. That means that, we pretty much care since ever to comfort, to its
Mm-hmm.
shape, to its function, to its features and uniqueness. But for sure, back in the days, his sense of shape, his sense of style and aesthetic and comfort itself with this invention of colored leather sofas. We were pretty much well known for being the worldwide leader for leather sofa production. And back in the days, sofas were just black or brown or possibly gray. He brought into the market pink sofas, yellow sofas, light blue sofas, colors that were not out there and that he was reinterpreting for his way of being, from his being already a fashion icon, because he was pretty much into colored shirts, Versace shirts in the 80s. So it was pretty much an icon in the industry. And I feel that, you know, his being back in the days also an eclectic person helped him to change the rules of the game. And that way of being, very true to his spirit of a functional yet very basic design, meant to serve the most primitive needs, which is the one that you feel at your ease and your comfort. It's something that I'm sure prized him in one of the markets that are the most value for money oriented, and for sure the most comfort oriented, because, you know, you can walk in America and see people wearing flip-flops and yellow socks, and you shouldn't be so surprised to see so, because it's comfortable, you know. And so when my father, you know, had that very that urge of creating comfortable products, that made him be a leader in the United States. So we started to grow double digit in net income and net profit from the 70s to the early 2000s. And thanks to that, we basically got listed at the New York Stock Exchange in 1993, where we still are. And, you know, we got a pretty big awareness back in the days, because he invented a style. He had a sense of, which he already has, it still has, you know, my father is still there, and I talk with him every 2 hours, but, you know, back in the days, he was pretty much into the product. Now he's CEO, so he has to take control of pretty much of a big sheep, you know, a big ship. Whether before he was the product man, the man of the product, or the man behind the product. And I feel that these pretty unique selling propositions were the ones that made him successful. So comfort, visual comfort, in a sense that, you know, the shapes were not very rigid and minimalistic, whether more abundant, and of course physical comfort and the sense of color, which was, I guess, game changing.
Thank you for the complete answer.
It's history, you know. It's history. It's my history, actually.
But history always help to do in the future.
Definitely.
Present and future, Definitely. So we should know about history of our everything, our country, lifestyle, and everything.
You know, I don't think you cannot be able to know everything in your life, not even to understand everything in your life, and for sure not to learn everything in your life. But something that I feel can really make a difference is your curiosity. You know, you have to be curious, and you have to feel that sense of that hunger, and, you know, that dynamism in you that moves to get next, to get it, to learn it, to know something new. And for example, what we are doing today is a sense of curiosity. You were curious to know me, I was curious to know you, and know respective stories or contents. That's what makes a difference, you know, being curious. Then you can read as many books as you want and have as many degrees as you want. But as far as I'm concerned, you have to be curious and humble to know constantly.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Pascal Junior, we know NATUZZI with the soft edge, leathery furniture, and you have always been trying to continue this background. But on the other hand, you're always open to any partnership with popular designers such as Marcel Wanders and Victor Pasquale. You know, Marcel and Mauro Borgini design soft and curved forms, but Victor does sharp edges, just like as a Plissé bookshelf that's designed for NATUZZI. I want to know these contrasts don't change people's perception about your brand, or it helped to reach your brand's DNA? I mean, making harmony.
So if you talk specifically about the collection that we did with Victor, yeah, it was a table and a chair and a lamp, and it was a collection inspired by Vico Magistretti. So it had a very specific inspiration in that case, and what makes a difference for me and the role that I have in the company is always the story you tell. So the message that you deliver through the product, but moreover the branding, the communication, the storytelling, the scenography that you can set up behind around the product. So that's what makes a difference. That's what's to me relevant when I have to pick a designer. I see designers like poets. You know, they have to be able to tell stories, to deliver that message. You know, it's not really each of us has his own style, you know, and me myself, I change my style on a daily basis. I really do, you know. I can wear in 100 different types of clothing and styles in a day. So
Yeah, I
I
see.
wouldn't be that picky, because at the end of the day, if you keep doing the same thing and having the same style, or using the same shapes, and then you end up being boring, I think, right? So it's nice to mix, to be more colorful also in the way you represent your shapes and your designs. And I think that is part of Natuzzi DNA. You know, we are Italians, and moreover Mediterranean Apulians. So pretty much of the majority of our land is surrounded by water, and those water were cruised by lots of different cultures back in the centuries. And for sure that changed our DNA, that evolved our DNA, mixing and blending with new and different roots, so that for sure you can see a very kaleidoscopic, whether or pretty, yeah, I would say there's a variety of cultures within our culture. And I feel that
Yeah.
you have to be able, as a brand, if you want to be a lifestyle brand, if you want to represent that message, you have to be able to express that variety of contents and of inspirations, so that, you know, yes, Victor Vasilev was pretty much squared and stiff. Marcel is a totally different story. Like, he's a story maker, he's a writer, he's a poet. So in that case, there was a totally different story. And with every designer I've worked with, and the new ones that I worked for this year, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to present all the novelties in Milano for the Salone del Mobile, but you will see things coming up, showing up, and being presented in the next weeks. And also there, you will see 7 different designers, 7, and 5 of them worked with Natuzzi for the first time. And I picked them because each of them has an identity, has a message, has a story, and has an affinity with Natuzzi. Whether it's already in each and every of our DNAs, or it can also be a result of a you know, an exercise of blending the 2 DNAs. So that's the real spirit of being creative people, you know, opening boundaries and exchanging contents, fall in the pursuit of a positive contamination, I like to say, you know. So I wouldn't, I don't know what to tell you regarding the history of designers that work with us. It's we for sure we have we don't have a pretty deep and wide track record of collaboration with external designers, such as other Italian companies might for sure have. They will have a longer list of designers that worked for them. In Natuzzi, the man behind the product has always been my father. Until I would say the early 2000s, something like that. And then my father started to teach, let me say, his vision in terms of design, shape, product, function, and aesthetic in a holistic sense. when he created the Style Center, where we today have more than 4 designers, we have 3
Mm-hmm.
stylists. There is my sister working there, doing constant and continual research of new trends, style, colors, coverings, and it's there that we meet with designers. It's there that we meet with creative people. It's there that we make the magic happen, and it's there that we keep blending different DNAs, and that's what I like. So yes, Victor was
Yeah.
different, Marcel is different, me, I'm different, you are different. What matters is the brand vision, the brand identity, the brand I would say approach, tone of voice in its communication that has to have
Yeah.
an holistic approach, meaning that it expresses the same message in every way and in every context and in every place and in every channel, and has then, as a consequence, an holistic approach to creativity and to branding. Then you can put different ingredients, but they're part of a menu that still has the signature of a Michelin star a chef or cook that is called Natuzzi. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I agree with you. The combination of colors and edges and designs can help to reach your identity, making harmony. You give more option to the customers to make their harmony, I think.
Uh, well, so we are a consumer brand. First of all,
Yeah.
we have hundreds and hundreds of store. We have more than 200 more brand store of Natuzzi Italia around the world, and on top of those, we have something like 80 more Natuzzi Italia store in China. And what we do is serving the final consumer, so Mrs. Rose that is walking down Tottenham Court Road in London and wants to buy a sofa, and she gets into the store and needs an assistance, needs a service, needs an experience. But at the same time, we also serve interior decorator and designers. That means that, of course, who gets in touch with Natuzzi through an architect and a designer has the opportunity to have a better service, a better assistant by the designers, by the architect, by the interior decorator. Whereas a final consumer needs to have the best service from us. It needs to
Yeah.
know that we have a variety of coverings and colors and configuration that can fit to his needs. And so we had to grow by following this path. And so we
Yeah.
did. So in every store, we have the Natuzzi Design Studio where you can sit down and choose among thousands of different configuration. And we do that because, yes, it has to be that sense of harmony that we express in a store has to be also relevant for the consumer. So it shouldn't be something that stays in the store or stays on your Instagram, but it should, spread out into people's zone. And the only way you can do that is by allowing them to mix and match and pick and choose and configure and customize. So we did that not only by having a very wide offer of styles, meaning materials and finishing and colors, but also by evolving our technologies. So we spent a huge effort to develop the Natuzzi 3D configurator, to develop the new mixed reality and virtual reality store that we developed with Microsoft. So we try to be a good partner, both for a designer, but also a good partner, I would say, also for a consumer, for a final customer that comes in the store. And harmony is what we try to do by doing this process uh, of interior decoration. Yeah.
Great. And are you open to any talented young designers to collaborate with and design for your brand? Or you prefer to work with popular designers such as Marcel and some?
Well, we did. I, I feel that you need to have different one strategy that can fit everyone, right? and I'll be more specific. You can work with Archistars and extremely good and well-known and famous designers, but at the same time, you have to interact with new designers and you have to influence and inspire new generations. So you have to work in three different layers. You need to have content and create opportunities for each and every of them to express themselves and get in touch with Natuzzi and create value with us. So for sure, we do collaboration with Domus Academy, NABA in Milano, which are design schools. We did a lot of projects with Chinese schools, and we try to invest and stimulate and help students and new designers to generate new ideas and get in touch with the Natuzzi world by stimulating each other with briefs and contests and projects. We work with emerging designers by maybe doing things that can be a good benchmark, a good test for both. You know, we as a company have very specific merchandising plan. That means that we don't develop product just because I like him or just because my father likes him. We know, thanks to very deep and scientific studies of what consumers want around the world, we know what to develop. And so we have a very specific and clear grid of product and prices and functions and styles, where we know that in 2021, we must come up with that kind of product with that kind of functions, and that other product with some other functions or specific characteristics, sorry, and prices. So we can also be able to say, well, in 2021, we must come up with XYZ number of models. We can give this to this kind of group of creatives, and this we can develop it internally, because as I said, in the Style Center, we have also a very talented group of 4 designers. So we try to differentiate our approach, whether depending on the moment, the brand, but we are super open to work with new young designers. We have a design contest that now reached its 3rd or 4th year in China, where we brief and work with talented new students that create projects for us, whether it's a product or a new idea and vision on interior design or architecture. We do the same, as I said, with NABA and Domus Academy in Milano. So yeah, we try to be out there, you know. Natuzzi is pretty young as a brand in the interior design and pure design world. You know, we've been a totally different company. We were not a brand, we were a trademark. We weren't into retail or interior decoration, but we were into mass production of million or billionaire sofas every year. That was a different machine, a different story, a different game, a different company than what we are today. And yeah, for sure, in the process that we are taking into account lately of getting into the interior decoration, interior design scene, we need to get some awareness from the new generations, and yes, only by working with them you can do that, not just, you know, spamming their emails with your CRM and so on.
Yeah, and as we talked before, do remember some popular design awards. So I follow these competitions. And do you plan to hold a competition again in the future, or not?
Of course, of course. I mean, guys, at the end of the day, let's look at what happened. It was January. Basically, the year just started. You know, it was just the start of the year. I was in Cologne for the fair, the furniture fair in Cologne, and we came back and the world exploded. Yeah, it was a few weeks after, but already China, you know, if China blocks its economy and then the world feels the earthquake, and at the same time, you know, when that spreads into other regions of the world and blocks the whole economy, of course, all of your plans and ideas and projects and strategies had to be reinvented and remoduled and rescheduled and redesigned. So we had in plan to do some of these projects and contests this year, but people won't get, students won't get into schools. They basically never gone in 2020. At the end of the day, they've been at school probably for less than 2 months, and they won't get back until September. So I
Exactly.
don't know what's gonna happen in the next months. We're gonna work on it. We are working on other urgencies and priorities, but be sure that we will be out there working with emerging designers and new talents from whom to learn. Yes.
So, firstly, I hope to defeat coronavirus. Firstly,
We
to
all do,
continue
my
the
friend.
plan.
We all do. We all do. It's pretty tough enemy, I gotta say. It's pretty strong and it's pretty bad. And I don't want to laugh about it because I want to keep the conversation light, but
Yeah,
it breaks my heart. I'm trying to be not too critical toward what's happening, but sometimes I have to. And so I try to speak out loud about things that shouldn't be done, that I find very stupid. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to help. I'm doing my donations. I'm staying home. I'm not going out. I'm working constantly. I would say 12 to 13 hours a day on that damn computer, having video conferences and stuff like that. And all I'm doing is trying to, structure an aggressive and I would say organic plan that will allow us as a company, so Natuzzi, to overcome this nightmare. It's really a nightmare. And I feel that many of us are still playing. I see videos of people that are
yeah, for
still
sure.
working around, walking around, partying around on their roofs, gathering with people, having fun. They didn't get it. So some didn't get it. Some are still, yeah, playing with it. Some others maybe are scared, but they're too optimistic. Some others are very, very scared. They're not getting out. Others, unfortunately, are suffering. But I feel that whether you're optimistic or not, it will be tough. It won't last a few months, and it will be much more than a simple crisis of few months. We have to really, really, really be careful because this could last longer than what we expect. This can be
Yeah, sure.
this can be more aggressive than what we are feeling in terms of consequences, because now we're being hitting by the punch. We've been hit
Yeah,
by a punch, but we might lose some more teeth than what we think, like having a comparison with boxing. So I hope things will get better. Me, my company, my people, friends, colleagues are doing the same. So I hope that we can transmit this message of unity, but at the same time, harmony and seriousness. We have to be serious people. We have to be responsible, and we have to try to overcome this moment together. Nevertheless, I'm home and I'm reading many posts and magazines and news and interesting articles, and at the same time, I'm seeing that there is, you have different audiences out there. You have the ones who are coming up with some crazy theories about the pharmaceutical industry, who wants to kill us all and make injection on every human body possible. At the same time, you have other people who are trying to describe this situation, making scenarios on what will happen next. So they're more projected to the future. Others, they are communicating this message that I see coming up more often, more and more constantly from different kind of people. That is the one of which I believe in, which is this message of the new era, building a
hmm
new era, writing new pages of a book that could be, you know, the new world after coronavirus. And talking about that, I feel that there is, yeah, there is a lot to say and a lot to do, because we can decide in which world to live when this will be over, you know. We can
Yeah.
decide which rhythm to follow. It's like if you have the drum playing now before the show starts, and then the show starts, and we have to decide the music that we want to play, the music that we want to hear. And so I'm trying to spend these days also to talk with people that I find, whether they are thinkers, makers, designers, whatever they are, but people that might give me some influence and inspiration, or simply new ideas regarding how to be me, Pasquale, myself, better, and feel better and live better in the next future. You know, we all
Yeah.
spend so many weeks home, uh, not doing stupid shopping around, being victims of marketing and publicity and communication. We all spent more time with our people. Even if we were alone, we try to find a way to get in touch with, via video and Skype conference, with the people that we loved. So we try to be more value driven. We try to be more real, more relevant, because this scared us all. This made us feel
Yeah.
small and weak and powerless, no matter you are a tycoon or a poor guy in the middle of the street of favelas. You know, we're all in this together, and we have to together redesign the future. I'm not playing, you know, I'm not saying, wow, we should fly, we should all build machine cars that will fly, we should all become vegan day after tomorrow. Well, I advise you to become vegetarian. It will be good for you and the environment. But really, on the simple basic things, do we want to be that do we want to rush that much? Do we want to be so much victims of the useless things, of our own personality? Or should we pace down and give more value to things, and rethink about our priorities in life? So
Yeah.
what this moment teaches to me is to evaluate and wait, meaning weight, the weight of something, weight my priorities differently. Yeah.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. Thank you. And
I lost the mic,
let's
sorry.
talk okay. 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 Let's talk about branding. Could you please explain how a new startupper can grow up their brand's identity? You know, there are some books, but I prefer to know the points from one professional like you.
Branding.
Yeah, about
It's
branding.
nice, you know, my personal trainer, which is not my personal trainer, is a brother, is a friend, is a life coach to me, because we spend a lot of time together. And to me, having a well-trained body means having a well performing mind, and being, you know, in a good mental and physical shape to perform as a person, as a manager, as a whatever, as the owner of my dog, as a boyfriend, whatever. And he was talking to me recently. He told me, I wanna build my own brand, and so he showed me some logos, some graphic designs that he was working on. And I said, yeah, it's nice, but who you want to be? What you want to do? Who are you talking to? What is your unique selling proposition? Which value are you selling to the ones that will buy you? So I feel that when you have an idea, you can read it by the book, or you can read my advices. There are billions of people better than me that can advise you better than me. But when you start a brand, it's like if you are deciding to go in Bondi Beach and cross the line where the net is filtering the sharks, you know, in Australia. It's like if you take your swimsuit, and you go out swimming with the sharks. Creating a brand today is it's very difficult. Yes, you have an amazing bunch of tools that can help you to gather information, and thank God there's Google and all the information that you can find online to be to do your checklist, you know, to know that you have evaluated everything you have to evaluate, and then there will be yet something that you forgot. But at the end of the day, when you want to start to build a brand, I feel that yes, you have to work on the idea. It might not be a big idea, might be winning on a short or long term. You won't know unless you do it and you try. Of course, in terms of basics and rules, I won't be telling you things that are well known for many people, such as all the analysis and studies you have to do on your vision, on your competitors list, on your offering, on your brand identity, on your word of references, on your tone of voice, on the way you communicate. So there will be many, let me say, methods that you can follow up to set up your first brand strategy. Okay, but what you can't buy online and what you can't read on a book, it's for sure the passion, and for sure the curiosity, and having a vision that can be really game changing, not only for you as an entrepreneur who is starting his own brand, but for the people out there. So what you got to do is studying these people and trying to understand how can you change these people's life. How can you get into their homes? How can you get into their phones? How can you get into their cars, into their refrigerator? How can you make a difference from them? How can you make an impact? And I think that if a brand managed to do so, whether it's doing a beautiful sofa that gives an incredible experience to a customer that wants to buy it and maybe didn't want to buy your sofa, but you had such a good marketing that you got in touch with that person, and you had such a great customer care that he had the best experience of his life, and you have a great product that product lasted forever and he wanted to buy more, and then you had a great last mile service that you got into his home with white gloves, and you gave him also a gift as a thank you note for having bought from you. So it's really more and more we are driven by experiences, and I think that experiences should have an holistic approach that impacts with you, on everything you breathe, see, touch, has to be really experiential. And so when you start a brand, make a difference and give amazing experiences. This is what I think. I'm in good shape this afternoon, I have to say. I'm talking very easily with you, and I don't know, maybe I don't talk to enough people, and so I need to do so, and that's why you are making me, it's like a training for me.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ask you a short question.
Yeah.
Please describe yourself in 3 words.
Dynamic, eclectic, and passionate.
Great.
Yeah, dynamic because I can't sit still. I can't stop moving, traveling, hunting for my curiosity and need to move and know new things. Eclectic because again, you can if you see me during the 7 days of the week, or the 12 months of the year, or the 365 days of the year, you might see, I don't know, probably hundreds of different Pasquale. I'm very eclectic, and my taste is too. So yes, eclectic for sure. And yeah, passionate because you can see if what I'm doing it because I love it, I believe in it, or I'm doing it because somebody forced me to do it, which can happen. I grew up following strict guidelines of education from my father and my mother. Then I was a rebel, I have to say. I was a rebel for a short period of time, not so short, but I was a rebel. And then I grew up over the last few years, and I got to know that there are compromises, that you need to
Mm-hmm.
work with compromises pretty often. And I don't like them, but you need them in life. And so, yeah, I mean, when you have to work with compromises, maybe it might force you, maybe it's something that you don't want to do, but you do it. On the other hand, when I do things with passion, you feel the energy, you feel the love, you read it in my eyes. And in most cases, when I do things with passion, I do good.
As we see from your profile, Instagram account, your posts, your stories.
I play with that, I feel uh, it's nice, it's nice to interact with people. I like that. I like to communicate. I like to interact with people. I like to know new people. And on top of it, Instagram to me is a huge source of inspiration. I follow over, I don't know, 2,000 profiles probably. And on a daily basis, with 2 minute scroll, I have, a sneak peek on the world. I know what's going on in the United States, where the trend things that I might know about France, Paris, Fashion Week, Design Week, or something stupid that Donald Trump said, which happens on a daily basis. I mean, Instagram, it's a window to the world. It is a real
Yeah,
window to the world, and yeah, I use it. I use it both as a source of inspiration for me. When I can, I try to speak my message, and so probably inspire people, or just uh, make the list of people that hate me longer, which can happen also. That, but we shouldn't care about those people. We should care about the
yeah,
people that love us, and the ones that we can make fall in love with our soul, our message, our vision.
great. Do you think in 2025, I mean next 5 years, what will be trend in furniture? You can add society, technology, and design, and everything you want.
2025, you said.
Yeah, 2025,
2025.
next 5 years.
2025. 2025, I think cars will fly. I'm sure that we will have flying cars, and cars that will be self-driving, will have a navigator, and they will drive by themselves. I know, I mean, apart from this, let me think about it, because I'm trying to see where we will all be in September or in June, if we will survive and still be breathing. So knowing and imagining what 2025 will be, it's kind of hard, but uh, you know, when 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 you had a phenomena, a social experiment like Greta Thunberg and the Fridays for Future, with millions of kids around the world striking on their Fridays, not going to school, that tells a
Mhm.
lot. That tells that those 12-year-old kids in the squares and avenues and striking like they really believe they're gonna change the world. In 5 years, they're gonna be the ones who drive the world. They're gonna be the ones who buy from us. They're gonna be the ones who tell us what they want, what they do. They are doing it already, but they will make today. They're influencing ourselves and their own future. In 5 years from now, they will make a real impact. They will make their choices. They will be independent people. So I feel that this big tsunami, like the digital tsunami, arrived into our lives, and whoever was not able to do a FaceTime or a Skype call or a Zoom call had to be was forced to learn in these weeks. I'm sure we'll live the same experience in 5 years from now. today somebody still has plastic, you know, plastic water bottles. In 5 years from now, I think we get, I mean, you won't get plastic anywhere. It might be an art piece. You might be collecting plastic because it will disappear from the world. And so I'm looking at a future that will be pretty much more conscious and environmentally responsible, and more respectful toward the environment. So I feel that in 5 years from now, what we are seeing today, what can be seen as a trend, what can be seen as a good threat, will be the world in which we'll live. And so whoever won't be part of that community, of that vision, of that way of being, will be out of the game, will be dead. And so if we want to be alive in 5 years from now, we better start that change today.
Yeah. Thank you. And your last sentence, it can be a piece of advice or anything you want.
My last sentence. Whew. Okay, so usually I say, you know, dream, believe, achieve is my mantra, because on a daily basis, if I have a new idea, I'm always dreaming with my eyes open, and I take away notes. I have always new ideas, new visions, and quite often I try, if possible, to make that happen. And so striving to achieve it, and you can only do that if you believe in it. So dream, believe, achieve is my mantra. But in this moment, in this very peculiar and specific time, I want to emphasize what I said before. You know, we have to decide who we want to be in the next years, and we can make that impact if we all together get in that path of making a change, a positive change. So let's decide who we want to be, in which world we want to live. And I feel that this forced slowdown forced us to pace, think, rethink, and evaluate and measure what we were doing and in which world we were living. And me, myself, I feel that the world in which I was living was made of 220 flights a year. And probably I have to fly less, you know, I have to take more time, not for myself, but evaluate better if what I'm doing, it's really relevant, it's really needed, or maybe I can avoid to do it. I can avoid to buy it. I have it already. I had it and I throw it away. I don't need it anymore. You know, so let's be more conscious, and let's all try to be writers of a book that we will all read in the next future, and that we will see and read proud for what we wrote. Okay.
Great. Thank you very much. It was really an inspirational talk, believe me. I enjoyed a lot, and hope to catch an opportunity in the future and see you again.
It'll be my pleasure. A big hug to you, to Iran. Be safe, be good. Don't stop smiling and believing that better days will come. And moreover, you creative people, take leverage on these days. Take your time. And if you are a product designer, graphic designer, maybe go back and read your family album. Go and check how the primitives were living. You know, I think we should go back to school probably in the next future. So let's try to take it slow and think about where we want to go and how we can do it together. Be good.
Thank you very much.
Ciao. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Ciao. Bye.